So we had a question come in the other day. Someone read one of our ebooks where we talk about blogging, and they asked a very important question, one that we've tried to answer in the past, but I don't think very satisfactorily. And so now this video is hopefully going to answer it very satisfactorily. And it's about hosting. Does it matter where you host your site? Well, what am I talking about? First of all, a lot of people haven't got a clue. But basically, your website sits on a physical server somewhere. And that server is essentially a computer which sits in a big server room, probably bomb-proof according to the hosting company. And it has all the files that make your website run. And that can be sat anywhere in the world. The end user, the person viewing your site, hasn't got a clue where it is and probably will never care. And it doesn't matter. The speed of the internet is so fast that pretty much doesn't matter where it is in the world, as long as there's a good connection to it, and most of the Western world has a good connection, it'll display very, very quickly. In fact, the slowest part of the link from you viewing a website, from where it comes from, is probably the last bit of copper coming from the local exchange to your PC. So, does it matter where you host it, therefore? Well, Google takes a couple of things into account when noting where to display a website in the search. Now remember, when you're searching for websites or searching for products, you can go to google.co.uk, google.com, if you're in France, google.fr, if you're in Germany, google.de. So does it matter where the site is hosted? How does Google know where to display that website, which version of Google it should display that website? Well, it takes a lot of things into account. It takes the domain name extension, i.e. the dot whatever it is at the end of that domain, because that states which country that domain is in, normally. It does take where it's hosted into account, and we'll come on to that in a second, but it's got something also in Webmaster Tools. Now, Webmaster Tools, we have a whole section on that in our training areas. But we won't cover it here. I'll just explain a simple thing about Webmaster Tools here. But first of all, let's look at these in order. Let's have a quick look at the domain name extension. So, domain, you know about the .co.uk. That means that this is a website that is fit for the United Kingdom. Well, it could be fit for the world, but we specifically want it in the United Kingdom. .fr, this is for websites in France. So normally, companies that are buying their hosting or their domains in France will have one with a .fr after it. In fact, unless you actually have a business in France, you can't buy a .fr. France has rules about these things. We don't. .de for Germany. I don't know what Germany do about .de domains, whether they let you buy them or not. Why would you want to? And .com. That's anywhere pretty much. Anyone can buy a .com, but traditionally that's been for America. Generally, a .com is for a US-based company, although we are .com, CallawayGreen.com. That's because we're multinational. We don't care where we're found. So, let's have a look at these in order. Where it's hosted. Hosting can be bought from anywhere. Remember that. You could buy hosting from anywhere in the world, and pretty much, if you want the cheapest, it's usually in the US. Many people buy hosting from companies like GoDaddy or HostGator. And HostGator is particularly cheap, unlimited hosting from about $10 a month, and it's pretty good. I've got to say, it is pretty good. So a lot of people want to stay there. But if you can, buy it in your country. If you've got the funds, buy it in your country. It will help Google to understand that your website is UK based, so buy it here. But it's not the most important. And here's the clincher. Yes, I know I've given you waffle about the domain extension, and I've told you about, buy it in your country and whatever. But there is a little used section by many people, and it's Webmaster Tools. And there's a very important setting in there, and this answers everything. Let's just head over to Webmaster Tools. So here we are in Webmaster Tools. If you haven't set up Webmaster Tools yet, then you really need to. It's a very, very useful part of Google, and you can see it there right in front of your face. Settings, geographic target. So it's under configuration, settings, geographic target, target users in United Kingdom. Isn't that easy? So you can just tell Google. I mean, why bother with where it's hosted? Why bother with your .co.uk, .com, .de, whatever? Just tell Google that you're targeting users in the United Kingdom. End of. And Matt Cutts, in one of his webmaster videos, has explained just as clearly, if you set this here, if you tell Google where your website is, then you're all set. So that's it. That's how to start getting people in the United Kingdom finding your website, is to tell Google where it is.